So here we go. European Central Bank proposes end to deposit protection. Why would they need to do that? See, they don't have a problem buying up all the garbage assets, bonds from all these banks like they've been doing. QE never stopped with the European Union. Well, the European Central Bank. It never stopped. Print, buy up all this trash. So if they're willing to print that kind of money to buy up this crap from these banks, and the banks are still failing. Speaking of which, I got a video I think to do about an Italian bank here shortly. On the rocks again. But why would, if they can print that kind of money, why would they need to take back the piece of, if there's a bail-in, anything above 100K, is gone, like the whole insurance thing? Let's see what Zero Hedge has to say about this, although it says it was submitted by Goldcore. It is the opinion of the European Central Bank that the deposit protection scheme is no longer necessary. Covered deposits and claims under investor compensation schemes should be replaced by limited discretionary exemptions to be granted by the competent authority in order to retain a degree of flexibility. To translate the legalese jargon of the ECB bureaucrats, this could mean that the current €100,000 deposit level currently protected in the event of a bail-in may soon be no more. But worry not, fellow savers, as the ECB is fully aware of the uproar this may cause, so they have been kind enough to propose that, during a transitional period, depositors should have access to an appropriate amount of their covered deposits to cover the cost of living within 5 working days of a request. Oh, that'll help. 5 days? Oh, good. Never mind. I should just stop doing the videos. We're fine now. We got 5, a 5-day grace period kind of a thing. Nonsense. So that's a relief. You'll only need to wait 5 days for some competent authority to deem what is an appropriate amount of your own freaking money for you to have access to in order to eat, pay bills and get to work and that kind of thing. The above has been taken from an ECB paper published on 8th of November 2017 entitled On Revisions to the Union Crisis Management Framework. It's 58 pages long, the majority of which are proposed amendments to the Union Crisis Management Framework and the current text of the Capital Requirements Directive. It's pretty boring reading, but there are some key snippets which should be raising a few alarms. It is evidence that once again a central bank can keep manipulating situations well beyond the likes of monetary policy. It is also a lesson for savers to diversify their assets in order to reduce their exposure to counterparty risks. And I'm going to have to, it's 5:24 p.m. Sunday. Okay. I'm going to be doing a live stream after I get these couple videos out of the way for tomorrow. But tonight, live stream will be going down. And speaking of diversifying, this live stream is going to be about cryptocurrencies. Specifically, EOS, Tezos, mystery coin. Is it possible that EOS is still actually the coin? I'm going to run a couple scenarios, but you hearing this now isn't going to make sense to you because I've already done the video by the time you've seen this video. And you could just go watch it. It's the previous video to these sets of 3 today. Anyways, it's the live stream, the last live stream. So, bail-ins, who are they for? According to the May 2016 Financial Stability Review, the EU bail-in tool is welcome as it contributes to reducing the burden on taxpayers when resolving large systemic financial institutions and mitigates some of the moral hazard incentives associated with too big to fail institutions. As we have discussed in the past, we are confused by the apparent separation between taxpayer and those who have put their hard-earned cash into the bank. After all, are they not taxpayers too? This doesn't matter, believes Matthew C. Klein in the Financial Times, who wrote recently and argued that the bail-ins are theoretically preferable because they preserve market discipline without causing undue harm to innocent people. Isn't that the same Financial Times I just talked about a couple days ago? that get ready for Bitcoin to come down, way down, because the futures markets, when the CME group issues these nonsensical derivatives products, there should be some, what was it, discipline or something, discipline in the market, civility into the market or some crap. I've got a webbot report in my pocket, and the other one's giving a high five. And then the webbot report tell us 20K Bitcoin, no problem next year. Financial Times, step into my office. Why? Because you're freaking fired, that's why. Ultimately, bail-ins are so central banks can keep their merry game of easy money and irresponsibility going. They have been sanctioned because rather than fix and earn from the mess of the bailouts nearly a decade ago, they have just decided to find an even bigger band-aid to patch up the system. Bailouts, by contrast, are unfair and inefficient. Governments tend to do them, however, out of misplaced concern about preserving the system. This stokes justified resentment that elites care about protecting their friends more than they care about helping regular people, says Matthew C. Klein. But what about the regular people who have placed their money in the bank, believing they're safe from another financial crisis? Are they not innocent and deserving protection? Well, when Klein wrote his latest on bail-ins, it was just over a week before the release of this latest ECB paper. With fairness to Klein, at the time of his writing, depositors with less than 100,000 in the bank, this is in the Eurozone, of course, 100,000 in the bank, were protected under the terms of the ECB covered deposit rules. This still seemed absurd to us who thought it questionable that anyone's money in the bank could suddenly be sanctioned for use to prop up an failing, more like an institution. We have regularly pointed out that just because there is currently a protected level at which deposits will not be pilfered, this could change at any minute. The latest proposed amendments suggest this is about to happen. Why change the bail-in rules? The ECB's 58-page amendment proposal is tough going, but it is about halfway through when you come across the suggestion that covered deposits no longer need to be protected. This is determined because the ECB is concerned about a run on the failing bank. And they wrote, if the failure of a bank appears to be imminent, a substantial number of covered depositors might still withdraw their funds immediately in order to ensure uninterrupted access, or because they have no faith in the guaranteed scheme. They called it a scheme. And you gotta have faith, baby. Wish I could trust the banking system, 'cause not every banking system has got a scheme like you. And you should have thought twice and put some money in Bitcoin. All right, I gotta stop. I'll keep going. I will keep going. Stop. This could be particularly damning for big banks and cause a further crisis of confidence in the system. They say such a scenario is particularly likely for large banks where the sheer amount of covered deposits might erode confidence in the capacity of the deposit guarantee scheme. Again, I love how the scheme. You're damn right it's a scheme, all right? In such a scenario, if the scope of the moratorium power does not include covered deposits, the moratorium might alert covered depositors or the strong possibility that the institution has a failing or likely to fail assessment. And when there's guys like me on YouTube who rush out to go do a video on this kind of stuff to let people know, hey, this is what's going down. Hey, such and such bank, Italian bank in trouble, Spanish bank in trouble. I can only hope that some of my people, slim chance over on that side of the pond, but some of my people have heard it and said, I think I might want to pull some out of the bank because I'm above the insured limit. Well, my question is, if it's 100K and they take it away, is any of your freaking money safe at that point? Now, this isn't the USA. This is the ECB, right? United States, Federal Reserve, we ain't doing that. We've got our FDIC insurance. There's no bail-ins. There could be another bailout, of course. And matter of fact, you've seen it over the last few years with the Federal Reserve buying $4.5 trillion worth of garbage assets off the bank's balance sheet, which they now said we're about to unwind. In the first month, as I told you, October, 10 billion unwind, ended up being about 6 billion. Didn't quite meet the goal. It's pretty big. That's not quite. 6 out of 10 6 billion out of 10. It's almost half. It's not looking good. And they're going to ramp it up next year, around October again, to 600 billion a year, which would be 120 billion a month, up from 10 billion a month that they're trying to do now. Anyway, can't wait to see how that goes. I really got to be honest. Anyways, the ECB instead proposes that certain safeguards be put in place to allow restricted access to deposits. Restricted access to deposits? You mean restrict me from my own money? Correct. For no more than 5 working days, because let's see how long that lasts for. Therefore, an exception for covered depositors from the application of the moratorium would cast serious doubts on the overall usefulness of the tool. Instead of mandating a general exemption, the BRRD should instead include certain safeguards to protect the rights of depositors, such as clear communication. Oh yeah, just communicate, that's all. That'll help. On when access will be regained, and a restriction of the suspension to a maximum of 5 working days by avoiding cumulative use by the competent authority and the resolution authority. So are they trying to say basically your funds could be not accessible to the tune that you need them accessible for a maximum of 5 days while they're dealing with some issue? On top of the 100K going away, bail-in protection going away? Is that what I'm seeing here or what? Even after a year of studying and reading bail-ins, I am still horrified that something like this is deemed to be preferable and fairer to other solutions, namely fixing the freaking banking system. The bureaucrats running the EU and ECB are still blind to the pain such proposals can cause and have caused. Look at Italy for damage prevention. At the beginning of the month, we explained how the banking meltdown in Veneto, Italy destroyed 200,000 savers and 40,000 businesses. In that same article, we outlined how exposed Italian banks were to the banking system. Over 31 billion of sub-retail bonds have been sold to everyday savers, investors, and pensioners. And I'm going to go ahead and just tell you, should I? Magic 8 Ball? Yeah. Magic 8 Ball. Out of the savers, investors, and pensioners, is it the pensioners who have the lion's share of these garbage assets? My sources say no. Okay, good. Because, I don't want the pensioners to find out later that the company that was managing their pension took a lion's share of this crap little backdoor deal with their buddy who worked at, the other place. And they were the ones buying all this trash and charging you a fee to manage your pension. Imagine paying a fee for someone to destroy something, anything, whatever they're supposed to do, it's good. You're going to give them money every week, every month, whatever it is, constantly to help build up this retirement nest egg going 10, 15, 20 years, whatever it is. And you find out when it's your turn to collect, the money's not there. They invested it in the worst things possible, and there's nothing. There is nothing you can do, because that's who managed it. And even if you wanted to do something early on and complain to your employer, who's probably government for the most part, but there's private pensions. I don't like this particular pension company. Can we switch it? No, you're not in charge of that. This company gives a pension. We set it up. You're not changing it because you're concerned. No, piss off. Find another job if you don't like it. What the hell are you doing? Get out of my office. That's how that would go. So there's a bit more to this article, actually, but I think we all get the point. Maybe I'll just end it with the last part of this. As we have seen from the EU's response to Brexit in Catalonia, officials could not give 2 hoots about the grievances of its citizens. So when it comes to the banking, there is little point in expressing disgust in the same way. Instead, investors may or must take stock and assess the best way for them to protect their savings from the tyranny of central bank policy. To refresh your memory, the ECB is proposing that in the event of a bail-in, it will give you an allowance from your own savings. an allowance it will control. Quote, during a transitional period, depositors should have access to an appropriate amount of their covered deposits to cover the cost of living within 5 working days of a request. What if I need to go buy an RV? That's not covered. What if I need to take our freaking vacation? Our vacation was scheduled. I can't stop. I already took off work. It happened right. We're in the middle of vacation. I need to ask my money, and I need it now. What do you call J.G. Wentworth? Call him. J.G., the central bank's got a problem with this Italian bank that I'm using. We're in vacation in some South American country, and I got to wait 5 days. I can't get access to enough of my money. This isn't cost of living. I still got to pay those bills every month. That's the cost of living they're talking about. I need extra. I'm on vacation, bro. Call J.G. Wentworth. Sorry. This isn't a structured settlement. We can't help you. Piss off. I got an idea for you. Call the central bank. Call the European Central Bank and complain. Hey, can you up my limit? You know, like you normally call your bank. Oh, there's a $5,000, anything over $5,000 you've got to call in. Your debit card or whatever, it won't even work. You got to call it in. Call the 1-800 number in the back. Could you imagine? I'm not calling the 1-800, on my debit card to my bank. I'm going to call the freaking European Central Bank. Hey, I called my bank. They can relinquish that amount, but we need your permission on top of it because it's within the 5-day window of this major event that just happened at this bank that's just failed. And I'm out in the middle of, trying to enjoy myself over here in vacation. Yeah. Good luck getting through. Piss off, taxpayer. That's how that goes. Take care.